Welcome back. This is the final video in the Unit 3 series on cell metabolism. This final video will be a quick overview of both photosynthesis and cellular respiration. Now, I chose this diagram for a number of reasons, and one of the reasons I like this diagram is something is missing. Do you notice what's missing from this diagram? It's quite important, and you might not notice it at first, but I will point it out to you. Now, one thing I have noticed over the years is students commonly seem to fall victim to the misconception that plants only have chloroplasts and only animals have mitochondria. Plants have both. Plants have both the chloroplast and the mitochondria. So in a single plant cell, this cycle can go around and around and around. Whereas animals or heterotrophs are concerned, we only have the mitochondria, right? And so we need to consume a plant or an animal to get our carbohydrates. So that's something to make sure not to forget. So where does photosynthesis take place? Well, photosynthesis can take place inside of the chloroplast. And a chloroplast would be an organelle that could be found inside of both plants and algae. Now, bacteria can perform photosynthesis, but they don't have a chloroplast. But they have something very similar that occurs along their cell membranes. So in a plant and an algae, photosynthesis takes place in the chloroplast, and in the chloroplast we can find the light-trapping pigment chlorophyll, which is why the chloroplast is green. Chlorophyll will trap or absorb solar radiation or sunlight energy, and with that absorbed energy, the chloroplast is then able to take carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, water from the roots, and through a chemical reaction produce glucose and oxygen as products. Now, if this were in a single plant cell, the plant could then take that glucose and oxygen produced through photosynthesis and use it for aerobic respiration and cellular respiration inside of the mitochondria. So the mitochondria could use aerobic respiration to produce lots and lots of ATP and two products, one of those products being carbon dioxide. And now you've noticed what's missing. What is the other product of aerobic respiration? The missing piece to our puzzle. Well, aerobic respiration is going to produce lots of ATP, carbon dioxide, but it's also going to produce water as a waste product. And now that we've got our arrow showing our water as a waste product, we can continue the cycle. And that water produced through aerobic respiration in that plant cell could then be used back at the chloroplast or photosynthesis and just go round and around and around. You've probably seen on the internet pictures and videos of people who have sealed off little glass jars that had soil, water, and plants inside of them. And those jars may have been sealed for the last 50 or 60 years, and the plants are still alive. And it's kind of miraculous. Now, those plants are alive because they can kind of continue this cycle of photosynthesizing sugars and then releasing the energy through aerobic respiration and then go around and around and around. But there's never a net gain of water or carbon dioxide in this system. So although the plant could stay alive, hypothetically, forever, the plant will never grow. And the reason for that will be in a video that I'll share with you guys shortly. Let me clear my screen really quick, and we'll go on to the next slide. Now, I know this diagram seems rather complicated, or this table, but it's just a quick comparison of photosynthesis and cellular respiration. In this column, we have everything dealing with photosynthesis, and in this column, everything dealing with cellular respiration. The main function of photosynthesis is to store energy, right? To trap energy from the sun and take that solar radiant energy and fix it into chemical energy and the chemical bonds in glucose. And then cellular respiration releases that energy from the chemical bonds in glucose to form ATP so that the cell can perform lots and lots of functions. What organelle performs photosynthesis? The chloroplast. Who does aerobic respiration? The mitochondria. What are the reactants of photosynthesis? Well, plants need carbon dioxide and water to produce glucose and oxygen, whereas the mighty mitochondria takes that glucose and the oxygen, breaks it down to form carbon dioxide and water. And here at the bottom, I've got the equations listed. Really, if I were you, I would memorize the equation for photosynthesis, and then I would just remember, oh yeah, cellular respiration is more or less the same equation, but simply backwards. And again, what is this all about? Why are we so concerned with photosynthesis and cellular respiration? Well, photosynthesis allows cells and plants and producers to take energy from their environment, solar radiation, and to fix it into a usable form of chemical energy. The glucose. Cellular respiration allows cells to break that bond in glucose to release the energy and to transfer it over to ATP. And ATP, which is that molecule right up here that we've discussed a lot, is used as the battery pack for our cells, right? Being that if we break this phosphate bond, we can supply energy to our cells. And if we want to store energy, we can break glucose apart and to form ATP molecules, right? And so this would be a slide that I would suggest looking over one last time before taking your exam on photosynthesis and cellular respiration.